here, but everything he's just said is lining up with exactly what's happening just now.
Brilliant.
And our swing in the wind and what the Golden Oracle says is all lining up.
Yeah.
So I guess in the case of just still talking about the weather, to stay on topic, we'll just run over our timeline. So currently here, yeah. So we've just come out from Oban, stopped in Tobermory for a moment, took a bit of a beating coming out sailing southwest of Canna, up past the TSS of Neast Point and the Isle of Skye, and then up to Loch Maddie, taking shelter here in the sort of strong westerly breeze that we've got the strong wind warning for, and then this sort of critical moment of the telltale sign that our window is starting to open is that it swings to the northwest. That's the opening, is when it comes out the north, the wind eases off. From here to St Kilda is 7 to 8 hours, and then tomorrow it eases off enough that we can try and get you on the wall. And the other good thing is it's been coming out the north, so the residual swell will be sort of coming round St Kilda, and then
You know, the thing about St Kilda is it's an incredibly remote place, and you know, there's a lot of challenges to climbing there. Getting the right conditions and accessing the walls that we want to access, you need a boat, you know? You need to access them from the sea. So there's so many things that have to align just to go there and just to get the right conditions to climb. In some ways, it would be easier, you know, going to Greenland than it would be to go to St Kilda. In fact, I guarantee you more people have gone and climbed Everest than have climbed on St Kilda, and that's something. That's pretty wild to think about. You know, if we don't get off St Kilda by Saturday, there's a big storm coming in, and although Scott said, you know, it's not going to be lethal, it's certainly not going to be comfortable. So I think we just need to get in there, climb, and get out. I think that's the best strategy. But yeah, we've got to try. You know, it's got this short window, and I think that's, in some ways, that's what makes it special. You know, that nothing is certain. We might get there and we might get rained off or blown away and have to run back to the mainland with our tail between our legs. But I think that's part of the fun of it. That's part of the adventure.
I went to the front before to get my phone and ended up kind of repeatedly free falling through the air. So yeah, the waves brought me up and then dropped me back down. It was quite the experience.
Despite the boat going like up and down so violently, everything is staying put, remarkably, including 4 cups of tea.
I know. Well, actually 5 cups of tea. I've not smelled a drop in
it. I half expected to come down and just see Will covered in like tea bags in his face and stuff, and everything was totally fine. It's surprising.
I thought Will and tea was going to be sloshing from one side to the other side as he chased a pan of stroganoff across the cabin.
Grease burns all over me.
Stroganoff on the ceilings.
There he is, just sitting tight making dinner.
Exactly.
He's not even sick apparently.
Keeping you lads going. Yeah, I don't seem to get seasick, which is quite miraculous.
we're just about an hour out from St Kilda and up to 28 knots of wind. It's absolutely howling, the boom's been in the water. The waves are starting to break because we are well overpowered, but it's not long now. We'll be in the shelter of Village Bay. Fantastic anchorage, the most western anchorage of the UK.
So we've just arrived in Village Bay, and behind me is the village on Herta, which is the main island of St Kilda. This is where the St Kildans had their home. This is where they settled. And people of St Kilda, they've been here for an estimated 4,500 to 5,000 years. Most likely when they first came out, it was just looking for food. But when they arrived, what they would have finally seen is an incredibly fertile land, and also just the number of birds here, just vast populations of birds, thousands of birds, which was for them a permanent food source that they would never run out of. And they would catch all sorts of birds. There's fulmars, gannets, kittiwakes, guillemots, puffins, and they would use these enormous long poles with a noose around the end of it. The technical skills required to scale these cliff faces are actually pretty hard to hone skills, but they had no modern climbing gear to protect themselves, no harnesses, no cams, no nuts, nothing. One of the things that really inspired me to come back to St Kilda this year, one of the things that really captured my imagination, more so than the climbing itself, was this story of their climbing exploits. In particular, this passage that I found written in a book from the 1600s by a guy called Martin Martin. The passage describes one of the climbs that they used to do in order to get birds and birds' eggs. It took place on a sea stack between the two main islands of Herta and Soy. And there's this amazing quote in it.
Betwixt the west point of St Kilda and the Isle of Soy is the famous rock, stacked on it. In their language, a mischievous rock, for it hath proved so to some of their number, who perished in attempting to climb it. It is reckoned no small gallantry to climb up this rock, especially that part of it called the thumb, which is so little that of all the parts of a man's body, the thumb only can lay hold on it. One might think the prize of a fowl too little to compensate so great a danger this man incurs to climb the thumb, where he is recorded amongst their greatest heroes, as are all those who have climbed up this mischievous rock.
One of the things that I find particularly fascinating is that they named the climb the thumb. This idea of naming climbs, in modern climbing it's very common, like pretty much all climbs are named. Usually it's something to do with the feature of the rock, or maybe a particular move on the rock. It could also be about the experience the climbers had on it. But I just find that so fascinating that the St Kildans chose to climb this sea stack for survival, but they also named it, and they named it for a technical climbing move. It just, in some ways, I feel it just really helps us get an idea of what they were like as people. They weren't just climbing for the life, but I think they also obviously enjoyed climbing. It was part of their culture. It was part of their way of life, just as it is mine, which I feel kind of bridges us a little bit. And honestly, it was probably the first ever named route in the world. So the good news is the rock is looking really dry actually.
It looks bone dry, which is one concern off the list. but there's a few more concerns, right?
Well, the swell is pretty big, and you can see over here on Dune, the waves are crashing right up against the cliffs. So yeah, it's making me wonder like what it's going to be like accessing Soy.
So you reckon that's the thumb over there?
Oh yeah, that's the thumb. Stack Biora.
Yeah, it's a really obvious shape of it right there.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, that just makes sense for it to be it. It's like a thumb shape, isn't it?
Oh my god. Wow. So the St Kildans would come around this coastline and go right up to that on a little wooden boat, and with a wee bit of rope tied around their waist, held on by their climbing partners on the boat still, they would jump onto the rocks and climb up and anchor it at the top to allow the rest of them to get on. That's what they did. How mad is that? And they were just doing this.
It's really ahead of their time.
Well, they're doing it for survival, you know? Needs must.
I suppose. Getting those bird eggs.
Yeah. Hey, look at that. That is flipping incredible. That's even better than I remember, man.
It's what we came for. Does look good.
It looks steep, man.
I remember why I was so frightened of this thing last time, but here we are back again to climb it.
Yeah, it's just so clean. You can see that there's just no vegetation at all from like that lower diamond all the way up through that steep like overhanging section, and then you can see just like the orange lichen. It kind of starts to sort of like kind of appear, and then the sort of green stuff. But that basically means it's like no water is reaching that area at all. Like nothing can grow there, so it's just clean. But you're right. You know those crack lines. If those didn't exist, then this would be a very different beast. I think the fact that those crack lines exist, and we have a line that we can just follow up, and I think our line is just there, going up through the most prominent crack on the face, going through the steepest section of that wall, and just blasting up.
Brilliant. And you think it stays pretty central towards the top?
Yeah, I think it's a central crack line. Just follow that to its, more or less to its end, and then I guess we've got a choice. There's those sort of like diagonal striations kind of coming through. There's like two of them, isn't there? The upper one, we have a choice of either following that diagonally out right, or taking a more direct line either through the face or through that sort of weird green chimney.
Yeah. Well, I'm always partial for a weird green chimney.
Yeah, you're a Lake District lad. You love it getting your hands dirty, don't you? I'll take the steep stuff on the good gear.
That sounds good. Yeah, I'll do the chocks.
I'm shitting my pants.
Will?
Yep, what he said.
Sailing's so much easier. You just sit in your arse. Like, it's the most stressful, expensive and uncomfortable way to sit in your arse all day. And I'd rather be doing that than this. Right? There we go, right. Professionalism at its best!
We've got Hugo coming next. Woo! This is probably one of the most dangerous parts of the day. Just getting on and off Soy. Oh my god! Oh my god! Go on, Hugo, round two! Go on, Hugo! You got this, man! You got this! Come on, dude!
close, get close.
Come on, dude, get a foot up. Yeah, go on, go on.
Yeah, come on!
Yeah!
I'm really itching to get on the wall now.
Yeah,
It feels like something like this hardly ever comes up. We've got a very small weather window. We've seen this amazing unclimbed cliff. There's nothing like this on mainland Britain as far as I'm aware. It feels very special right now.
It's the steepest wall I've ever seen. It's so sustained. It just continues. It seems like forever. And although you can see these features, I'm not quite sure like how good they are, how big they are. As I was saying before, it's just this big unknown. You abseil down there to the bottom, and then you gotta just climb out. I don't know how to put it, but I just have this this weight in my chest. It's like this pressure. And I very rarely get that. I don't know, just part of me just wants to get down there and start, and another part of me just wants to run away.
Yeah.
I know that for us to do this, we just have to give ourselves to the wall and just essentially just try our hardest. That's all we can really ask of ourselves, you know?
100%.
Okay, mate. You ready?
Yeah, I've got everything, man. All right, good to go.
Crush it. Boom.
Oh, loose.
That was a big bit of rock.
Woo! Just having to remember how to be brave, you know? Ah, fucking hell.
Come on, mate.
Okay, sec, dude. Quite intensive on the arms.
Good job, mate.
Cheers, dude. Yeah.
Watch me out.
Yeah, mate.
Oh, yeah. Woofed.
Nice, mate. How's it going?
This looks hard, man. It's just, it looks like this next section is really thin on like a thin crack. Just don't know if it's the right way to go. Ah, Jesus.
Go for it.
That's it.
Nice, mate.
Whew. Fuck yes. Ah. Woo. Woo. Oh my God. That's hard.
Nice, Robbie.
I'll just have to build a hanging belay here.
Yeah, okay, no worries. was less than fun.
No, I'm sorry, man.
Fuck, it's so steep here. Nice one, mate, you send it. Nice, Robbie. Fucking have it, lad. Fucking have it. See any holes up there?
There will be. Oh no!
God.
Oh no!
Thought you said it was going to be okay.
There's no holds. It's just all slopers. I thought I could see a good hold. But it's also just so hot, man. Like, it's like
I know.
the slopers are like hot. It's like boiling. Fuck. We need to get up this thing. We need to get up this fucking thing. Alright, okay, I can probably aid through this.
Okay.
I get a cam in there.
Yeah.
Take that.
Nice, mate. Good job.
Okay, now.
Past the impassable bit. Into the better looking crack above.
That's it. Now we're talking. Ah!
Go, mate.
Ah! Yes! Come on! This is the best fucking wall I've ever been on. Oh my god. Ah. Ha
Nice one, Robbie.
On belay! Climb when ready! That was, without a doubt, the most sustained, steep climbing I've ever done in my entire life. This wall just keeps going forever. Every time you look up, you see a maze of sloping ramps, slopers, cracks that disappear into nothing, finger cracks, hand jams, off-widths, and all of it is just like skatey because nobody's been on this before, but it's absolutely incredible. Even though I didn't manage to free climb that last bit, it doesn't really matter. I think just being on this wall is incredible, and I'm just psyched to try and get to the top of it. But look at where we are, man. When you're climbing, sometimes you're so engrossed in the moves that you forget to look around and you realize you're on the side of a cliff with just one of the most incredible backdrops ever in the most western part of the British Isles. It's wild. With just these fulmars and gannets flying around us like these ancient animals who have been here for millennia.
I'm on my way back round to see how the climbers are getting on. As I suspected, the sea state has got worse. It looks like actually there's some rain on the horizon coming in, so unless they're finished now, it might be a long night on the wall. Even if they are finished now, the swell is
pretty punchy at the moment, so I don't actually know if I'll be able to get them off. We sent them off with big bivvy bags. Let's go and see. Let's go and see.
Chos City. Woo!
Yeah, I can't even look up without getting hit in the eye by a stone in a minute.
Oh god. Yeah, this is not fun. I'm gonna pull on something. Whoa! Oh shit! Oh fuck, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh,
I might be slightly concussed, but...
you're right.
Yeah, I'm alright.
Oh, fuck.
Fuck, dude, what happened?
The hole just broke.
Ah, fuck.
Ah. I literally was about to say, I'm just about to grab something that's a bit shit. And then the hole I was holding on to broke.
Oh, no.
Fuck.
That's such a shame.
It's so annoying. This has just turned into chaos here.
This is like fucking chalk.
Ah.
So squiggly. Honestly, every move you make just knocks so much dust off at me.
I know, but I honestly think if I just get over this next bulge, it'll be okay.
Oh, I've got complete faith in you, yeah.
What?
I've got complete faith in you. Sure, I think you can do it, yeah.
Thanks, man. Alright, back up we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh no. I think this is literally Chos City. And when I say Chos City, I mean Chos Hell. Like, this is gonna be horrible. Mary, watch me here, okay?
Okay.
Ah!
Nice, mate. Nice, mate.
I remember on the long haul on Hoy being so exhausted at the penultimate pitch as I was beeling at the time, and I was looking down at the swirling vortex of sea beneath and getting lulled to sleep by the swirls of the white water. I'll be honest, I don't feel quite as tired as I did on that day. How's it going?
This is the loosest fucking pile of rock I've ever seen, man. everything you fucking touch comes off and crumbles. And we're climbing through an overhang. What the fuck? I think I've said before that like it's really nice to do hard things and like chase memories and shit like that, but I was wrong. I was so fucking wrong. I couldn't have been more wrong. People shouldn't do that. People should just do nice things.
You want to lead this next pitch?
You're gonna push me over the edge, man. Oh my god.
At least you're on a ledge now. Kind of. Yeah, I don't count this as a hanging relay.
This is good, yeah. It's the first time I've not been sat in a harness for like 100 metres. That's quite nice.
I mean, like, we've basically got what looks like, I think, 20 or 30 metres to get to the big ledge up there.
Fuck yes.
So, well done.
Well done to you, mate. That was a good lead.
Thanks.
Just because the pure like audacity of the rock quality.
To be honest, man, I just like you. I just thought it's easier to go up than go down.
It fucking
I was
is.
like, I'm just gonna fucking get up this thing. I was gonna get to the top. The whole thing was just falling apart in my hands, and I just had to swim up the wall, just grab the next thing and trust it blindly.
Oh my God.
Watch me here. Oh my God. What a wild adventure. Oh my God, this pitch, man. This next pitch looks more up your street. It's a big, nice big Lake District walk.
A walk.
A lovely walk.
Good. Perfect.
Woo! Oi. Oh, there we go, come on. Hey!
I really can't believe how overhanging this fucking thing was. Every pitch was like.
I know. Now the last pitch is yours.
It better be a ledge all the way across.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be unhappy.
Get us to the top, man. I really wanted to free climb this thing. I really wanted to climb it without falling. I was a bit gutted that I didn't. I fell on the lower pitch. But that was a flipping amazing adventure. And just getting from the bottom to the top, I think was totally worth it. That's one hell of a wall, and that is without a shadow of a doubt one of the most amazing sea cliffs I've ever climbed. Certainly the most steepest and most exposed, certainly the most sustained as well. Yeah, that was a good day.
Guys, don't move anything out. I'm thinking of the block, unless there's a water between you and the block that we got you on yesterday. So I'm going to run in the dinghy, just stand by.
Okay. Go.
Fuck me, that was close.
Yeah, hold that. Little strap, yeah. Yeah.
Hey, he's back.
Me. Christ almighty.
Woo, Robbie's back.
Nice, got a bit wet.
Yeah.
Tell you what, thank fuck for adrenaline.
Mate, you did so well.
Scott, boy.
Good job.
Yeah, impressed with that, Scott. Good job on that.
In the passage I saw, they said that Stack Donna was the one where the thumb line existed. But actually having a look at Stack Donna, it's quite a small,
flat.
Yeah, it's really flat. Yeah. And there's these two stacks here. We've got Stack Bjorach and Stack Shoei. Actually in the written excerpt it mentions that the sea stack that they climbed on was that of a steeple, like kind of sort of like a tall.
Definitely the centre one.
Yeah, Stack
that
Bjorach.
fits with that one, yeah.
So I reckon we should probably look at Stack Bjorach. I think that's the one that it'll probably be on.
I think accessing it could be quite a logistical challenge, just in terms of like it's exposed from the north and the south, and actually quite a bit from the east. And if there's any tide running at all, it'll be ripping through there. So leaving the dinghy is going to be quite difficult. It might require putting a cam in the wall, heading out, putting the anchor down. Hopefully it holds well enough, pulling ourselves in, and then accessing the wall. And it might be either a rappel and a lasso into the dinghy, or like a rappel and a leap into the water if the tide's not running. Because if it's running, it'll be going through there at like 2 or 3 knots, and you won't be able to swim against that. And the holding, like, it could be kelp, it could be boulders. I mean, the whole place could just be a boulder field, so just treacherous to get there, but we have to have a look.
Yeah, sounds good. Gotta have a shot.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Sick.
It's really hard to see Stack Bjorach from this point because the sun's so intense coming this way. It's just a big dark shadow on this face. So we really need to get closer and actually have a look at what features there are. I mean, obviously I think we're going to go for the line of least resistance because that's most likely what the St Kildans would have taken. So I think we're just going to have to do a little bit of a zip round on the dinghy and try and figure out what the easiest way to top is. I can see on the dark side of the stack, it looks quite steep.
This is basically a deep water solo straight up there.
I don't think that's right. I think round the other side.
I bet you could maybe get it there, but it looks greasy and not the easiest thing ever.
Nah, that looks horrible. This side maybe, I reckon just round this corner. I'm not convinced by the greenness, man. Honestly, because although we can see there's eggs here, there's the nest here, yeah? I think up higher, we can't see. It's super hard there and super green. And I just honestly don't think they would be climbing that without any traditional gear.
It would be quite gnarly if they did.
Yeah. In the passage, they said it's Stack Donna.
Yeah.
But Stack Donna has no birds nesting on it.
Maybe not
so
anymore.
it makes no sense. What about, wait, actually, can we go back around there slightly and have another look? Ah, wait a minute, go this way. What if we got onto it here and then traversed in?
Yeah, there's holes there.
Go just over here slightly?
Bit of a move.
No, there's a ledge there, though.
The
access on this is quite dangerous just because it's overhung, so if we go underneath that, we're scared.
Big ledge.
Nah, I think this is it here, the ledge.
There's a big ledge further around.
Big ledge, and then traverse along there. And that
Yeah,
actually seems
and
quite
then
doable.
up there, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes complete sense.
That does look possible. Yeah. This probably seems reasonable, to be honest, mate.
Yeah, should we try it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, this is it. Yeah, big handhold there. And then just get rocked over on it. All your weight onto it. Bend your left knee, right? And you're not, your handholds are kind of going to disappear a little bit, right? Just hold on there, don't do it yet. You can actually turn around and then just kind of crawl.
It is reckoned no small gallantry to climb this rock, especially that part of it called the thumb, which is so little that of all the parts of a man's body, the thumb only can lay hold on it.
Okay, dude, are you ready?
Nice one, Scott.
That's it.
Awesome, mate.
That's it. Come on. Get your foot onto it. Watch onto it. That's it. Foot further on the left. Further on the left. Foot further on the left. Get all your weight onto it. That's it. Good. Perfect.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't slip on all this bird shit. It's really slippery. Oh, interesting. I would have maybe gone higher on that ledge.
I didn't want to go up there.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, fair enough. Yeah, it looks like it's been snowing up there. Snowing with bird shit. How's it looking?
There might not be any gear here. This might not be a problem though.
Who needs gear anyway? Overrated.
On belay! Climb when ready!
That's all right.
All right, lads.
How do?
How was that?
So cool. Climb up so much bird shit.
Yeah.
I've seen so much in one place. Friction's surprisingly good though.
There was a few loose bits.
Yeah. Did you knock any stones off?
Yes, I did. I pulled a massive block off.
Did you?
I pulled
I
that.
thought I heard something.
I pulled something that off.
Really? Jesus. Right, I think we should really try and get up here as fast as possible.
Cheers, mate.
Just because it's getting a wee bit darker.
Can't be far now, eh?
No, no, no. I think we've got one more pitch to the top. Sound good?
Yeah, let's do it. Rocks! Nice. Oh!
All right, let's go. Hey.
Yeah, boy.
On the 22nd of September 2023, myself, Will Birkett and Scott Johnson became the first people to stand on top of staggering in over 130 years. It's hard to put into words what it meant to stand on top of this isolated piece of rock. It wasn't about accolades or conquering a new summit. We felt like we'd been climbing in the fingerprints of history, retracing the same moves of the St Kilda climbers who had come centuries before. I'd spent countless hours studying the history of the St Kildans, trying to understand who they were as a people, their culture and way of life. But no amount of time spent reading had prepared me for the immense weight of history I now felt standing on top of this sea stack.
It's just kind of amazing to think that where I am right now, nobody's been for potentially 100 years. But one day, a long time ago, there was people climbing up here and fowling, catching the birds. This place is totally magical. It's like something out of a fantasy. The other guys have gone down. They're abseiling down back to the boat now. And I think it's my time to go down too. I'm gonna miss this place.
The St Kildans had come up here to hunt for birds, but I'd learned that climbing wasn't something that they just did to survive. It was woven into the very fabric of their society, and something that they enjoyed. As I climbed this ancient route, I imagined a young St Kildan man, his woolen clothing soaked with salty seawater, a horsehair rope tied around his waist, his feet bare to the rough textured gabbro, and his friends below in a rickety old wooden rowboat shouting encouragement in old Scots Gaelic. Hundreds of years apart, the technology we use might be different, but we don't seem so different, you and I.
Man, you know, I think there might be easy ways to go climbing.
Yeah, I don't think we've chosen the easiest. You could just go sport climbing, go to Clymnos, have a nice day climbing in the sun. Instead, we're hitting the high seas, dealing with flipping turbulent waters, jumping onto rocks.
It's bad weather, we've hardly slept.
And just constant uncertainty that's always stressing you out as well. Just every step of this journey is challenging. I feel like nothing is ever given. But I think that's part of the fun of it, you know?
Yeah.
It's part of the adventure.
Coming out here and doing something like this, you know, it's something that it just really stays in the blood.
Yeah. I think this is where you really like entrench memories.
Yeah,
You know, ones that you never forget.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, should be a nice chill day.
Go, 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 go.
Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. If there's one thing I'll say for Robbie, there are so many points so far in which I would have given up.
Oh, come here, son. I'll show you how to do it, you wee soul. Look, pretty much an hour until we depart.
I love team psych shot. Woo!